Hey guys, it's Donna and I'm back with another video. I know I haven't uploaded in a hot minute, but I am back now. And so as you can tell by the title, I am doing my labor and delivery story. And I know I'm a little late on this considering my daughter will be 3 months this week, but you know, I have a kid. It's kind of hard to film videos, especially whenever you're a teen mom and a first-time mom. So anyways, that's besides the point. Let's just get right on into the video. And so I did try and film this video once before. If you hear any noises, it's my daughter. She's talking to herself. But I did try and film this video once before, but I didn't write anything down, so whenever I was going back to edit it, I realized that I missed a lot of things and all that. So I ended up sitting down and writing it all out so that I wouldn't forget anything. And there's still probably things that I forgot whenever I wrote, but at least it'll be a little more thought out and better for you guys to get an understanding of what really happened and everything like that. So as some of you guys know, my original due date was March 19th, 2018, and my daughter was born on March 14th. So I was induced about a little less than a week early. I went in on March 13th at 8 p.m. at night, and I was scheduled to start my induction the following morning. So they made me come in, and as I came in, they checked me to see how far dilated I was, and the day before I had a doctor's appointment and I was at a 2. The next day I was at a 3. So I was already dilating, and I'm pretty sure they said I was 70% effaced, but I could be wrong on that one. I just know I was at a 3 whenever I went. And whenever I did go to the hospital, I ate beforehand because they won't let you eat whenever you're going into labor or in labor or anything like that. So I did eat right before. Me and my family went and ate food, and then I went to the hospital, so I was a little late. But anyways, the people who went with me to the hospital that night were my boyfriend William, who is also Sophia's dad. If you guys haven't seen my previous videos, my dad and my younger sister. The only person who stayed the night was William, but they all came with me to be admitted into the hospital. As soon as I got there, like I said, they checked me to see how far dilated I was and to make sure my water hadn't already broke or anything like that. And they also hooked me up to my IV because, well, I mean, they're going to hook you up to your IV regardless, but I also had to be given medicine because I tested positive for strep B previously in my pregnancy. So they gave me medicine through my IV so that my daughter wouldn't catch that whenever, or wasn't like passed on to her or something. I don't even know what strep B was, but he said like 1 in 4 women are a carrier of it, and I happened to be one, so I had to get medicine for that. Anyways, at 12 a.m. they were scheduled to insert a pill to soften my cervix, and I guess you could say this is the start of my like that's whenever they were starting my labor, like starting to induce me or whatever, but they didn't give me Pitocin until the following morning. So after they gave me the pill to soften my cervix, they were thinking about giving me another one in the morning, but since I was already dilating, they didn't find it necessary to do so. But they did warn me that there was a possibility that I would be nauseous after eating the pill. With that being said, I did get really nauseous after they gave me the pill, and I ended up throwing up, which was not fun. I had to throw up in one of those blue bags, and it was pretty crazy. I only slept about maybe an hour or 2 throughout the whole night. They told me to try and sleep as much as I could so that I could have energy in the morning for once my induction actually started and everything like that. But anyways, William did stay the night with me, and they had like a little bed type thing for him. I do have footage from the hospital if you guys would like to see that. I'm not sure, but I was planning on recording everything, but it kind of got really hectic at the hospital, so I only have little clips of everything and all that fun stuff. But anyways, so throughout the night I was just pretty nauseous. I didn't have any contractions or anything like that. Like they said I was having contractions, but I wasn't feeling them, and nothing too bad or anything, until the morning. At 6 a.m., right on the dot, they came in and they put the Pitocin in my IV. As soon as they put the Pitocin in, I shit you not, excuse my language, I started feeling the worst contractions of my life. I know that in my previous videos I have gone to the hospital for contractions before that were pretty painful, but nothing compared to these. Like, these were horrible, and I was trying to hold off on getting my epidural because my older sister was like, oh, you can do it until you're like a 7. They told me, like, once you hit a 3, you can get your epidural. I was already at a 3. I'm pretty sure by the time I got my epidural, I was around a 5, I want to say, but I'm not completely sure on that. I ended up getting my epidural an hour and a half after they started me on Pitocin, so around 7:30 in the morning. My dad and my younger sister Emily came to the hospital at 7 in the morning. William was already there, and my older sister Wendy was coming, and she was going to be there around 8:30, and William's mom was coming. So those were all the people who were going to be there for the birth and everything, and then more people were going to come afterwards. So around 7:30 they gave me my epidural, and William was allowed to be in the room with me, which I did not know because I've watched videos of labor and delivery stories, and they said no one can be in the room during your epidural, but they let William stay in the room with me at my hospital that I gave birth at, and I don't know if I would be able to do it without him. Like, he said that I nearly broke his hands, not because the epidural hurt per se, but because my contractions were so strong, and they told me I couldn't move. So I'm sitting there, and I was sitting crisscross, and I was holding on to William as they gave me my epidural, and he said they pulled out the biggest needle. I didn't see anything, thankfully, because it was all behind me, but the epidural process wasn't too bad, just the fact that you can't move while you're having contractions, and like I said, these are like really painful, but as soon as I got my epidural, I felt so much better. Now, my sister said like I was a complete bitch during the whole labor process, and I guess I was because everyone told me that. But I mean, this shit's painful, really painful, guys, I swear. Anyways, after I got my epidural, I can't remember if it was before or after that they broke my water. I don't know if there's like a protocol, if you're supposed to break it before, after, I don't know. I just know that sometime before 8:30 they broke my water. And whenever they broke my water, they told me that my daughter had a bowel movement inside the womb. And with that being said, they told me that the NICU team was going to be inside my delivery room as I was giving birth, just in case. And they told me not to worry that if she doesn't come out crying. And of course I'm going to worry. They're telling me that the NICU is going to be in there, and my daughter may not come out crying or anything. I'm just like, okay, thanks guys. Anyways, after that, they all left the room, and it's just me and my family, and now my sister's here, everybody's here, and they decided to check me again, probably like as soon as my sister got there, my older sister, and I was at a 7, and so like this is around 8:30, and I was already at a 7, so I'm dilating pretty fast. My whole labor only lasted 4 hours, which is crazy, I guess, because I'm a first-time mom and all that, and it only lasted 4 hours. So I am thankful for that. Around this time that they started checking me, though, I started feeling really, really great pressure. Like, it was like intense pressure because of how low she was. And my daughter had already been low throughout my whole pregnancy, basically. Like, once I hit 30 weeks, for the last 10 weeks I was pregnant, she was super low. Maybe 28 weeks, I can't remember, but it was pretty early that she dropped. So she was already low to begin with. As soon as I started dilating, she gets even lower, and the pressure is unreal. And I'm not trying to sound like gross or anything, but it feels like you have to poop really bad, and you can't, because you can't push or anything until they say you can. So they probably checked me again about an hour later, around 9:30, I guess, and I was at a 10, so they gave me the okay to start pushing. Once they started pushing, everybody had to leave the room, and I was only allowed to have 2 people in the room with me at the time. So my older sister Wendy was going to stay in the room with me, and then William was going to stay in the room with me. So I'm thinking I get to hold on to their hands and stuff, and it's going to be great. No. They made me hold up my own legs. What? Like, I had stirrups and everything, but as I was pushing, they said, all right, pull your legs back as far as you can. And it's the craziest thing because I couldn't feel my legs because of my epidural, so I'm holding on to something that I can't feel. Anyways, I'm pushing and I'm pushing, and it's getting harder and I can't do it, and I feel like I keep saying I can't do it, I can't do it, I can't do it, and they're like, yes you can push through this or whatever. And they ended up bringing out a mirror so that I can see my daughter, because she was crowning so you could see her head and everything. And they're like, okay, here's the motivation that you need to continue pushing to get your daughter out so you can meet her, all this. So I'm like, okay, and I start pushing harder, and they told me to stop pushing. And as soon as they told me to stop pushing, obviously I stopped pushing, and they told me that my daughter's heart rate was going down and that they needed to put me on oxygen. So they gave me an oxygen mask, and they told me to chill out for a minute until my doctor came in. My doctor ended up coming in. So as soon as my doctor came in, he told me I could start pushing again, and that I needed to push as hard as I could, or they were going to take my epidural away. He was just messing with me since I was sitting there saying I couldn't do it, but like, I got scared. I started pushing as hard as I could, still wasn't coming out, so my doctor ended up having to cut me 6 different times to get her out. I pushed, and eventually my daughter came out. He ended up cutting the cord, and William really wanted to cut the cord, but since the NICU did have to take her, my doctor ended up cutting the cord. So as soon as she was out, cut the cord and everything, the NICU took her, and she was still in the room with me, but the NICU team did take her over, and her lungs were filled with fluid, so they had to pat her back and everything and try and get it all out. And eventually she started crying and everything, and about 10 minutes later, as my doctor was sewing me up or finishing up or something like that, I can't remember. So after I delivered my placenta, my big sister was like, hey, she wants to keep that. And he was like, oh, do you? It's medium rare, something like that. And I'm like, no, I don't want to keep my placenta. So I ended up throwing that away or whatever. Stitched me up, and I get my daughter, and it was the most beautiful thing, and I cried, and my daughter is perfect. I love her so much. So at 10:11 a.m. on March 14th, 2018, my daughter Sophia Marie Leanne Applehans was born, weighing a whole 7 pounds and 10 ounces, and she was 19 inches long, and she's perfect. So I guess I will show you guys her now. So this is my daughter Sophia, and that's my sister coming out of the bathroom. Anyways, this is my daughter, and she will be 3 months old on Thursday of this week, and she's the most perfect baby ever. I love her so much. And that's pretty much it for my labor and delivery story. I will be making some more videos for you guys. I already have a few filmed that just need to be edited, and oh goodness. And this is not the last time you guys will be seeing Sophia. I will be making an update video all about her and about how she's been the first 3 months of her life and all that fun stuff. And if you guys want to know more or have any questions, please comment them down below, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. And thank you guys so much for watching. Say bye, Sophia. Bye. Bye, guys.